So I have a few unpopular opinions about this, so let's go ahead and just get to it. So the first question was asked about mental health. She said one day she's solid, some days she feel like giving up. I mean, it's not surprising that she probably going through a hard time, seeing how people are like putting a lot of it on her, right? Like you knew what was going, you knew what was happening, etc., etc. But I urge y'all to think about this. If y'all have that same energy about Caresha, then y'all need to have the same energy about Cassie when she was laughing at Kim Porterface when she was getting beat up. Allegedly. Everything is alleged in my opinion, even though we know to know. So we gonna have that same energy. I feel like the same way we gave Cassie grace as she deserves, we need to give Caresha the same grace. And she also explained how that was not her experience. And I don't think she's lying, because sometimes you tend to get different versions of a person depending on what time they are in their life. And she also made a comment saying, I was celebrating him with the world. And at the time, everybody was giving Diddy his props and, hyping him up before the video came out. So I see her point there. And then she simply said that just wasn't my experience. And so he asked her, so why didn't you speak on it? Why did you stay so silent? She said, I can't speak on something that I don't know. And that's fair. Don't get the line to help nobody out or lying to help the other person out. If you don't know, then you just don't know. So he also brought up the video. She said, I was in 2 domestic violence situation and she would never put herself in that situation again, and that she don't stand for it. So then he asked another question. Was Diddy a benefit to you? And she said, I was a benefit to him as well. Nobody was really drinking DeLeon like that. She made Act Bad, like a thing, and that pretty much brought Diddy back in the spotlight. Like, let's be for real. It really did. Now, he was winning awards. He's already had a peak of success, but it was dying down, and I do feel like Caresha brought him back. And then she spoke about her #1 podcast being No Revolt. And so honestly, I see where she's coming from. I do feel like they both was an asset to each other. She also mentioned how when she got with him, it wasn't about bags and cars. She was like, I'm under a mogul. I'm trying to figure out how to get money and get my businesses together, which is why she now have a business manager. She's small in her team. Like, she was just learning from him. Now, let me be very clear. Diddy dead ass wrong, right? But I would hate for Caresha to get the responsibility of a grown man action, right? That's all I'm saying. Moving on. JT. He asked questions about JT, and she was like, well, I'm not even finna sit here and just lie to y'all and act like we talk every day. Pretty much, we ain't got no beef, but we ain't cool. We ain't posting each other's stuff, but we ain't just out here dissing each other either. And she still considered JT as a family and like sister. But at the same time, she said that's what she felt like the breakdown happened when she got online. Because she said real friends don't do that. She could have called me. We could have talked about it. And things been rocky with them for a while. And that they were living completely separate, different lives. And when they got together, it just didn't match. And when they went on tour, when they was on stage, that was the most time they spent with each other. And then the most important part, which she's giving me candy, she said ain't no money in the group, so she got to figure it out. She got to figure out what's going on. Candice did the similar thing when she found out, Tasha was going solo. She said, look, I got to figure something out. I got to make a brand for myself. Now, this part took me out. So he asked her about JT and Cardi, and he was like, well, where were you at when they were arguing? People were saying you was on mute, and you really wasn't speaking up for her. Young Miami talking about, I got left off Bad and Bougie. Girl, why? Because she wasn't on the song. She was like, the queen ain't asked me to rap. She was like, and then I found out that they were going back and forth on that. Like, what am I supposed to say? She pretty much saying I had to let them handle that themselves. Now, another thing about Diddy that I thought was interesting, she said she separated herself because she can't get caught up in it. But she do feel like they fell in love, but she's not for that. She don't agree with domestic violence, so she had no choice but to separate herself. Now, this part made me really sad when she was talking to Santana. She said, Santana, I don't know where I would be, probably popping pills, trying to make myself go to sleep. And a lot of people was taking it as an aha moment, the people who I thought was really going to be there for me. And Caresha basically felt like she did what she was supposed to. She got under a mogul. She learned. She changed her business for her, made money for her, and he did his part in helping it. And then she also mentioned how when she tried to go solo herself, studios really didn't see the value in her no more. And she feel like that has a lot to do with her losing her personality. She was like, I feel like I lost my personality and it hurts because that's why people gravitated towards me. Which is true because Caresha and Santana in them lives was everything. And I love how Santana spoke life into her this entire interview. And then she also spoke on how the negative comment starts to make her feel like, should I give up? But then when she go outside and she around real love and around her kids, she like, nah, okay, I gotta keep going. But what's coming next for Caresha? She said season 2 of Caresha Please, a reality TV show, and Risha Roulette Part 2. Now that was my key points that I found in the interview. What y'all think about this? And follow that YouTube, darkskin_QQUEEN 2.0. Y'all see the name. Bye, y'all.